everybody, Jennifer Roberts here, and I am the Podqueen. I've got my friend Jessica Frazee, rhymes with
crazy.
Oh my gosh, that's the best name ever.
I love it.
Did you practice spelling, writing?
Yes, writing.
And did you ever write out the hyphen?
No.
No, just checking.
Mm-mm.
That's a little,
We just made up last names.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Okay, because you were Willard.
I was Willard, and so our top two.
Let's hear it.
Willazzie and Frazard.
Frazard. Ooh, that's really good. Willazzie is kind of hard. Frazard. I like it.
Yeah. But
new name.
We stuck with Frazee.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good girl. Okay, well, Jessica has been part of the community of the International House of Prayer for years.
11 and a half.
That's a long time.
Long time.
You,
I'm old now.
Yeah, you're old now. What, did you just hit 20?
31.
Come on. 30? Seriously?
Yeah.
Kiddo?
But I married young, so I count his age.
Okay, fine.
I'm 27.
Perfect. That works perfectly.
Yeah.
So you were a teenager.
I was 19, 20. Yeah, 19.
That's amazing.
When I moved.
Incredible. And the reason I'm having Jessica on my major network show is because she's so practical in her presentation of how to connect with God. I've noticed that for years.
Oh, thanks.
I love that about you. It's just, you make it work. It's not just airy language, but it's you live something consistently, which is awesome.
Thank you.
So we're going to just poke you and see what comes out.
Okay, good.
And so, because I'm kind of doing a series on just practical prayer, how to do this, how to maintain it, and not just for the person whose full-time occupation is an intercessor.
Right.
You know, if prayer works, it should work for everyone. The stay-at-home mom, the marketplace person, da-da-da-da. So let's talk about how, in your opinion, how do you maintain a life of prayer?
Over the years, it's changed. We
Yeah.
all know that. It's like any... and I like to view, for me, a life of prayer like a relationship.
Yeah.
If I view it as a real relationship, which it is, but it's that... I forget that sometimes.
Right.
Because he's not actually sitting in front of me. So if I view it like that, then I can actually weather the seasons better and the change better, because it's like being married. Well, I've only been married 7 months.
She's an expert now, you guys. Wait for the book.
Yeah, we're working on it right now. But it's like a relationship in the sense that it's like one season, the way we interact is a little bit different because of maturity or just because of something the Lord's bringing up. And so
That's a critical piece. I think a lot of people miss the fact that you've got to ebb and flow with the seasons.
Right.
So I like that you hit that.
Because otherwise, I like methods. My husband is definitely stronger in methods more than, because I'm more of a heart person. But there's methods to get my heart to stay open, and that's the thing. But at the same time, I found those methods can become my comfort zone instead of actually the Lord. And so learning how to like navigate in the beginning I would say if you're new at it, consistency and a method is like the key thing. Meaning, I remember I worked for your husband years ago, and the Lord started like wooing my heart going, I actually want an hour a day, Jess.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. And he told me that hour is more sacred than anything you do in the day. So I actually told Dwayne, my boss, I was like, you can text me or call me, but I'm not going to answer unless you tell me it's an important thing.
Yeah.
I need this hour. So I'd go back home, I'd go to the prayer room and come back home, and I had my hour, and I knew, and it wasn't glorious, and that's like one of the things I like to mention too, is it's not beautiful. It's not glorious. My first dates with my husband, it's not like we could write a book about our dating experience.
They're awkward. You're trying to figure out how to talk.
Yeah, it's the same thing with God. So you can't analyze it. Nobody leaves a coffee date. I'm not going to leave. I mean, most people don't leave some interaction and go, oh my gosh, like that wasn't right. We analyze everything. I'm like, that's the way I view my prayer life with God. So for those, I had an hour. I always use the Bible.
Yeah.
And I like people to know their strengths, whether you're a feeler or you're a talker or whatever, and actually use your strength to interact with God, if that makes sense. Because in the beginning, it's like you could hear so many people with all their ways, and I'm like, I just know how I'm made up, and that's okay for that entry point. Like, my way was I would say I had an hour. I would sit down with my Bible. I would recommend having different topics you do. So like if you're gonna read, I can't just shut my eyes and like start praying because I don't know what I'm thinking of. Like I have to fill my mind. So filling my mind with the Bible,
it's good,
and then actually like letting my heart respond. So having a time in that hour where I feel like, because we're coming from different situations. As a mom, I can't imagine but your day is just like crazy, and you have this one snippet, and so you fill your mind with truth, and then you actually feel like your heart is open and able to. And for me, I use that opportunity after the word is like present and I'm reading it and maybe not feeling anything, but I use that time to actually be open and vulnerable.
Right. So then your launch became off of the Bible.
Right.
And so in your 1 hour, you would start reading the Bible.
I would always...
But randomly, or you had a set plan, or where'd you start?
Usually I had a set plan.
Did you just open it and go here?
Sometimes I am like, I just plop the Bible and I'm like, oh, that's so good.
Yeah.
I'm that kind of person where it's like it falls open to Hosea. This happened the other day and I was like, oh.
I forgot I love it.
I love this. And so I stayed there. But before that, I had like a psalm I was in consistently. And I'm more of a like, not every day is a different thing. Sometimes for me, I'm like, for months, I never left Psalm 16. For months, I never left Song of Solomon 2. So
that's allowed, by the way.
Amen.
I think people don't know that is allowed. If there's life on Psalm 16, stay there.
Right.
It doesn't mean you're ruining your devotional time. You're getting what you've come
right. And I viewed it more as like, I'm not trying to prove that I got through 5 chapters. That's for later. Like that's for later if I'm sitting in bed or wake up and I have time to read, or at night I'm falling asleep and I have time to read. I just want to commune with God. I want this to be a conversation.
Right.
So if I'm like, oh, I read my 5 chapters, but I didn't actually talk to him, then I don't feel like that was what I was going for.
Right. So this is about connecting with Jesus at the heart level.
Right. And so whatever verse, you read 3 verses and then you just start talking to him about it. And I'm not much of a faker. I guess I probably used to be. Meaning like, it's like when you're having coffee with somebody and you don't know them and you kind of just smile and nod and you're not actually open and vulnerable, but you can only do that so long with the Lord. And then you're like, I'm faking now, right?
Totally.
And so I'm a big use the word to talk to him, and then all of a sudden it's like sometimes I have this thing open up where I'm like, I can't say that. That's not a scripture. That's just me. And it's like the word is this light searching me, and he's trying to get even the yuckiness up. And I'm not always good at presenting that as my offering in communion. It's same with my husband, where I'm like, ooh,
you don't really want this.
Yeah, I'm like, what do I need to talk about? Vanity. Okay, like, this is the issue right now with me and my husband. I'm like, babe, this is what's going on in my mind. It's the same with God. Like, here's, like, inviting him rather than shutting off my thought process. I go, this is what's going on in my mind, and inviting him in. And I've had moments where, for me, it was disappointment in finances, disappointment in promises, and I couldn't hold myself together anymore. And I finally let it all out. And in his kindness, all he said was, is there anything else?
So good. So basically what Jess just described is intimacy with Jesus. I think, people even hear that phrase and like, well, how do you start? What do you do? You just described it in such a beautiful way. And this isn't rocket science. God isn't waiting for you to get your words right, to get your thoughts right, to get everything right. He says, come as you are. And come and launch from the Bible, talk to him about it, ask questions about it. Why did you write this? What are you thinking? That kind of stuff.
The questions are so important.
So important. So the basis is come consistently. Come as you are. Launch from the Bible. Don't give up. And believe that he actually likes to hear the sound of your voice. Because if you don't think he likes you, you won't come.
Right, and that's my biggest premise. I go because he enjoys me so much.
So good.
Like, I view that smile, minute 1.
That's
smile.
Just smile. So that's Jessica Frazee, who is crazy. No, Frazee, crazy, not Frazee. That's so French. We're going Frazee, crazy. Is that right?
Yeah, that's it.
Love it. She's crazy.
I am.
That's it.